In life, only a few things are guaranteed. Death, taxes, and Miyazaki-directed games being a foot fetishist paradise. But, as we all know it, not every game is created equally. And well, let's just say that we all have our favorites. From Demon Souls all the way to Elden Ring, we have seen some very beautiful, disturbing, and in some cases downright horrifying creations. Some with just 2 feet, some with up to 6, and some... we'll get to them later. With Demon Souls being the first game Miyazaki directed, he sadly could not make his foot fetish be known to the public just yet. And because of that, the most amount of feet we can see on one character is 4. Dragons have 4, the man-eaters have 4, dogs have 4, the lizards have 4, you know, the list goes on. Thankfully, this was just the beginning, and things got infinitely crazier as time went on. The Crystal Lizards received a pretty big update when compared to the predecessor in Demon Souls. They no longer respawn, but they have a lot more feet now, 8 to be exact. I hope that this doesn't count as cheating, but for this reason, the Crystal Lizards are gonna be pretty high on the list, clocking in at 8 feet for the entire trilogy. Actually, scratch that. For Dark Souls Remastered, we have a pretty unique case. See, there is this one boss called Gravelord Nito. I think we all know him. He gives you Dante's sword. He lives in a coffin. He's a pretty cool guy. But the reason we are glazing him at the moment is because of the foot count. First of all, he has 2 of his own. Second of all, he has a bunch of skeletons hanging from his body. You will see 8 feet on there, which adds up to a total of 10 feet. So far, he is the leader of the pack when it comes to the foot count. But hold on, we're not done yet. It is time for Elden Ring. If you had the same thought process I did, then you would probably assume that Godric or the Grafted Scion have the most amount of feet. But actually, if you take a closer look at them, they mostly have arms attached to their bodies. This isn't a surprise to me. The only reason why Godric lost is because he was grafting the wrong limbs. Poor guy had no idea that feet are superior here. The same cannot be said for one beloved boss that I am sure all of us faced at least a couple of times. Even those who only played through the game once. Of course, I'm talking about the ulcerated tree spirit. It's kind of funny to think about the fact that the boss we face the most in Elden Ring is also the boss who has the most amount of feet. It's almost as if they wanted you to be constantly reminded of this monstrosity. But enough of that, and instead of focusing on just how awful they are to fight, let's focus on the number of feet these little fellas actually have. Thanks to BonfireVN, we can see their model up close, and thank God for that. Otherwise, good luck on actually finding out how many limbs they have. Even then, it's actually a bit tricky to get a proper count on them. Hoping I am not wrong with my calculations. These guys have a total of 16 feet, 2 big ones on the front, then 6 smaller limbs on each side. If by some chance it ends up being a miscalculation, I don't think it will end up changing the list either way. So that's at least a concern out of the way. Thank God I am done with this nightmare. But speaking of nightmares, we have to talk about Bloodborne. I love Orphan, I love Maria, I love German. But what do they all have in common besides being good bosses? That's right, they only have 2 feet. If we want to look at something that has more of them, we have to look elsewhere. The werewolves have 4, which is pretty good. But then you have Ludwig, who has 6 in total, 4 from his horse body and 2 from his human body. That said, this still doesn't even get close to the amount of feet the other characters on this list have. Who is the one character in Bloodborne who has all the feet to himself? I already said it. The one. The One Reborn. Trust me, I don't know how it got to this point either, but we got to go all the way through now. So the question is, how many feet does this guy have? I don't know. I am not smart enough to be able to give an accurate count. Jokes aside, I have done multiple takes on this guy, spent about an hour counting the feet on his model, and it's about 37. He has 4 main limbs, if you wanna call it that, but the number of feet is very uneven. One of them barely has any. Meanwhile, 2 others are filled like a piñata. We also have to remember that there's a few scattered on the main body frame as well. I am 100% confident I got the wrong number, but I am also 100% confident that this guy is the one who has the highest number of feet. So, is Bloodborne the best because of the weapons? No. Exploration? No. Team and story? No. Bosses? Hell no! Is it because of the One Reborn being Miyazaki's wet dream? Yes. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I truly hope you will have many great days ahead of you. Winter is coming, so dress warm, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.
You may rest here too, if you like.